Today, we are going to talk about how spirituality helps your business grow. And what I'd like to start with is actually with this quote by Jack Canfield. Jack Canfield was the writer of Chicken Soup for the Soul that turned into Chicken Soup for the Soul for teenagers, for marriages, for health, for business, for everything. It became like a really big success. And he said this: if you can tune in into your purpose and really align with it, setting goals so that your vision is an expression of that purpose, then life flows much more easily. It's a beautiful quote. So this conversation is about spirituality in business, and I think it's important for us to start by defining what is spirituality versus what is religion. So religion is this set of norms and systems that are formed by this community in order to worship or serve a deity. And faith is encouraged by rituals and ceremonies and celebrations that this group of people follow in order to show their devotion to God, goddesses, etc. So some examples are Christianism, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism. I grew up in a very religious household, and I went to church every Sunday, and we celebrated everything. I was baptized and communion and the whole ritual, and we prayed to a God. And we had amazing experiences and not so amazing experiences as well. We had a little bit of everything, and it felt really good. At least for me, my experience was that I grew up in a community where everybody came together and we hugged each other, and I participated in retreats, and as I was part of the choir, and I really I think it brought a sense of community for me and a sense of belonging and something to do as well, something to, see my friends at, or something to do on Sundays. And I can tell you that I know how to recite the entire mass in Spanish. So yeah, so that is what religion is. Now, what is spirituality? Spirituality is your personal connection to something bigger than you, something bigger than ourselves. So it could be when you're in nature. It could be that you are tuned into the universe, the cosmos, the stars, energy, the energy that transfers between us, that runs through our bodies. You're tapped into the flow of life. It's a very personal practice. And we tap into our spirituality when we are, for example, meditating, or when we're hiking, or when we watch an amazing sunrise or sunset, when we practice yoga, when we go to Burning Man, or we experience a communion with something bigger than us that makes us feel like we belong. And spirituality is not related to religion necessarily, but it can be experienced in religion. And it helps us become more self-aware of what we're experiencing, our feelings, just brings a lot of consciousness to the unconscious, so we can address it, but also so we don't live in autopilot, so we don't let life just pass us by. now that we know what is spirituality, I want to know, I want to tell you why not being in alignment with your spirituality, or not even having a practice of spirituality, either religious or non-religious, is hurtful, is detrimental to your business. So when we are doing business, when we're entrepreneurs and doing business, what happens very often is that we go into this pattern of go, 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 go. And sometimes we can get really overwhelmed, and we're so focused on doing our work day and night. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. You really work over 8 hours a day. Your day doesn't end at 5 p.m. You can work 12-hour days easily, and you love it. Of course you love it. That's why you chose to be an entrepreneur, because you're so excited about what you're doing that you could just work all day, no problem. But what happens when we go into that sense of overwhelm, and that just going so fast, so much without pausing, is that it ends up being a very lonely life, and high stressful life. And also your health can suffer. You can get burnout, and then you start doubting your abilities. You start doubting your decisions. You start doubting yourself. You start doubting the person that you are. If you are a good husband or father or mother or friend, if you start doubting a lot of that. And I think that all of that starts to make you feel dysregulated. Your whole system, your whole nervous system just becomes so dysregulated that you can't find yourself, your center again, and you forget to be present, right? Now, I want to tie it together and tell you how that is related to spirituality, because you could say like, well, that's just part of work, but I want to tell you how spirituality can help with that. So when we integrate spirituality, we create a balance in our system, a balance in our life, where we can integrate energy and flow with strategy. So, for example, yesterday I was creating a sales page for selling some products that I want to create. And I was trying to figure out the name of the Shopify store that I'm creating. And I started thinking, right? Thinking. So listen to this. I was thinking. So I started saying like, okay, well, what will be a good name? And every single name that I typed was taken. And I'm like, holy cow, like, what am I going to do? And so I started searching and testing, and I was getting frustrated because nothing was happening. Nothing was opening up, until I realized like, wait, I'm thinking, I'm using my mind and not my intuition, my connection to source, to the energy that I know is there, that has all the information for me. So I stopped myself, and I said to myself, okay, just relax, stop for a moment, and just let it come to you. Just meditate for a second and just let it come to you. And so I told my brain, I told my mind to just stop searching and to just drop into the heart area and just allow the information to come to me. And so I started immediately thinking about sage and Palo Santo, which are things that I usually use very often in my practice to clear the air and the space, to purify the area. I burn or smudge my surroundings with that often. And so I started looking like, what other names are for Palo Santo? And another name that showed up was HolyStick, right? And so I type in HolyStick, and of course it's taken, right? And so there were some options that, Spotify, or I keep saying Spotify, Shopify shows you. And one of the options was adding the word store after that. And I'm like, go with it. Like my gut feeling was like, go with it. I'm like, okay, Holy Steak or Palo Santo store. Great. Awesome. And I'm like, whatever, don't overthink it. Just go with that gut intuition. No problem. So I finished setting up the Shopify store and I step out for a second. And when I come back and I look at the name, it says HolyStick store. HolyStick store. And it made me laugh because this is what my business is about. It's about holistic approach to life in general, to mental health, to body, to biohacking, to living life, holistic approach. And it was so aligned. I'm getting goosebumps right now. And I was laughing so hard because I didn't see it. It was a play of words that actually, to me, guidance or the universe put there for me. And just the moment that I didn't overthink it, I just went with it. That's when it came out, and I was just laughing at how perfect that is. My business actually is called La Jolla Holistic Center, and so to have that play of word is I just feel so humbled by that experience. And that's just one little example of how many ways in which tuning into your spirituality can make things so much easier for you and so aligned with your entire purpose in what you want, right? So when you're feeling guided, it's not just that you're going to sit down and meditate and that's all you're going to do and you're not going to put in any work and you're going to wake up and do your yoga and meditation and not do anything. That's not what it's about. There's a little quote that I remember in the Bible. I don't know if it's exactly like that, but it's something like knock on the door and it shall open, or something like that. Or I can't remember, but it's something in regards to you pray, but you also act, right? You also have to open the door. You also have to knock on the door for your answers to come. So what that means is that when we are tapping into spirituality, sometimes we tend to swing the pendulum a little too far into spirituality to sort of escape the stressors of life. We sometimes just want to escape into our spirituality to not have to deal with reality and what reality brings. But it's not about that. It's not about disconnecting from your current experience. It's about finding that balance in creating rituals and structure. This is why, religion is sometimes really good because it creates some sort of structure. But when you are talking about your business, it's important that you are tapping into the spiritual and that you elevate your energy and your vibration, but also you do what you need to do. You set up your systems and you set up boundaries around your time and you create rules and you create rituals for yourself. That all of that is important. It's sort of like the yin and yang. It's like the balance, the female and the male energy. So the female is the allowing, is the attracting, and the male is the pursuing and the going for things. So creating that balance is really important in your business because you are acting from guidance, so it's both. Is you're acting and you are being guided in those actions. So it's sort of like an inspired action. Sometimes I see it as like the kite. A kite doesn't just float without the string. You need the string to tense a little bit of that, um, to tense the kite a little bit, so it creates resistance against the pressure, the wind pressure, so it elevates even more. That's how planes work as well too. And so we need both. We need to elevate ourselves and float a little bit, but we also need the string, we need the groundedness, we need the structure for all of that. Now, how can you being in alignment and you being just tune into your spirituality can help your business? I have experience with my clients, just magic, honestly. Magic is just incredible how when they are in the flow, when we're really tapped into their purpose, when they are really tuned in into what source wants for them, what their energy wants for them, what life wants for them, just opportunities start happening for them. Chance with quotes, encounters are happening. All of a sudden people are connecting them to other people and things are just flowing so smoothly. It's just like everything is happening so quickly for them and so easily that it just makes being an entrepreneur and having a business just so much more fun, rather than hustling and struggling and pursuing and pushing and all of that. um, when you are understanding how to integrate spirituality into your business, you start noticing more when you are dysregulated. What happens often is that when we start pursuing and going, we sometimes become so overwhelmed. We have so many deadlines that our mind put in there, that didn't come from an alignment. They came from maybe fear or scarcity or just what we learned, that we then start becoming very dysregulated. Our whole nervous system becomes very dysregulated and we are ungrounded. We become just so off. And so when we are attuned to our spirituality, the deadlines are coming because they are feeling good, because it's a sense that we're getting, not because our mind says it should be by this time because this time is what this is happening, blah, blah, blah. It's a strategy. We definitely have to have strategies, but the strategy has to go in alignment with our soul, with our feelings, with our senses. So it's coming from a space of complete alignment with what your purpose is. So what that means is if your purpose is to help people achieve financial abundance, because you struggled when you were younger and you were able to achieve financial abundance and you want to teach other people how to do that, then your purpose is to do that, and everything that you do is aligned with that purpose. So what you do is you maybe perhaps you work on developing programs and courses and things like that, groups to assist people and to help, and maybe you create a nonprofit organization and so on, foundations and things like that to help people. But if you go into your mind and you detach from your purpose, then you start questioning and you start thinking, wait, um, am I doing the right thing? Is this the right time? Should I charge more? Should I charge less? Should I do this? You start doubting everything that you're doing and you forget why you're doing this. You start noticing like, oh, I didn't have enough likes over here, or I don't have enough followers, or I need to post at this time because this time is better according to statistics, or, Gary Vee said that I should do this. And you are forgetting completely the drive that you have inside that is attuned to your soul, to your purpose, to your heart. And that won't work. That won't work. You're going to just crash if you are not attuned to that. So that true energy is what you need to tap into so things happen for you without stress. And often entrepreneurs and business owners, they think about the future And of course, that's important because you have to plan ahead and have a business plan and, predict some things and etc. But sometimes they get stuck in there. They get stuck in the future and they forget to be in this moment. They actually disconnect from the present moment and they start ruminating about the past. I should have done this, I should have done that. Or they are constantly thinking, well, I have to meet this deadline and this has to happen, that they start missing this present moments. They stop enjoying this present moments and they stop celebrating what they have done, their accomplishment, and they start beating themselves up as in, I'm not enough, I haven't accomplished yet enough, without looking at everything, all of the rewards that they have reaped, the connections that they have in this present moment, the enjoyment of what they are building right this moment, the connections that they have with people and their impact in this world. So they miss it. They miss the moments with their families, their friends, the moments of ease, the moments of nature. And so they're not in the moment with their goals and what they desire. They are just pushing themselves a little too much. So noticing that and bringing yourself back to your spirituality means that you tap into your breath, that you connect to this present moment, the here and now, that you are present with everything that you're doing, including when you're eating, that you are feeling calmer, grounded with the people that are important in your life. And when you are in that space of groundedness and ease, I have seen and I have experienced myself, you are way more clear about what you want, about what you need to go, the steps you need to follow. It's just incredible. And of course, your body reflects that because your body is healthier. You're not as stressed. You don't have ulcers. You don't have back pains. You experience healthier eating. You are more in tune with what your body is requiring of you. You exercise more. You enjoy life more. You have more oxytocin because you're watching this amazing, beautiful sunrise that is just like taking your breath away, and you are filled with very positive, good feeling hormones. And of course, your relationships benefit. Your relationships, not only your intimate relationships, your relationships with your friends, but even relationships with other businesses, with other prospects, they improve. And you start aligning your priorities in a better way that serves you, that serves your life, your style, serves your business, and you start seeing opportunities. You don't see blocks, you see opportunities everywhere around you. So how do we align, right? Now that you see all of the amazing ways in which you can really tap into your business, and tap into the spirituality and bring it into your business, how do we do that? Like, what are some of the practical steps to do that? Now, some of these practices may be something that you're already doing, and some of it may be new to you. And so I encourage you to research. There's amazing people out there doing a great service for people to help them tap into nature, to help them tap into their well-being, into their spirituality, into expanding their consciousness and their mind. And so there are many practices and many people out there. So allowing yourself to be guided, I think, is important. We tend to be trapped by our ego and our mind that tells us we need to do it this way, or I know what I'm doing, or no one's going to help me, or whatever ways we sometimes trap ourselves into thinking that our ego just is right, and it's not right. So the first suggestion that I have for anyone that wants to start integrating spirituality into their business is to quiet the mind, silence the mind. silence the mind by meditation. I know some people, it's very hard to meditate because the mind is just a chatter that won't stop. So maybe you can try, instead of meditation, you take a nap, or maybe you go for a walk and you start processing your thoughts. Or maybe instead of sitting quietly in meditation, what you try to do is focus on one specific thing, um, whatever that is. If it's like building Legos, that's what it is. If it's drawing, that's great. Journaling, anything that is helping you quiet your mind. If you notice it, if you research it, a lot of really big entrepreneurs and business people in the world are meditating. Like Ray Dalio has a practice of meditation, if you heard of him. um, Tim Ferriss, Dr. Huberman, they all have a practice of meditation. Some integrate yoga with it because sometimes the mind is such a chatterbox that doesn't allow us to calm down. But if you can use your body, that helps as well. So that's one way of integrating spirituality. Another way is releasing attachments to the outcome, to what should be. I'm not saying don't set goals. Definitely set a goal, but don't attach to it has to be that way. Because what happens is when we are so attached to the outcome, we lose opportunities. We don't see how things should be. Um, we think that they should be a certain way, and we don't allow things to happen in the way that life is showing us, the flow of life is showing us. I have a client who she didn't want to do a specific group in work that she wanted to do. I don't want to disclose too much, but something was drawing her to that, and she surrendered. She said, okay, I'm going to let go of attachment and see how that goes. In that, when she allowed herself to release attachments, to release the way that it should be, that specific group that she formed turned into another group and then another group and another group that actually ultimately guided her to her goal. However, her goal had transformed and became even better because of all of the groups that she um, allowed herself to experience. Things just incredibly started working out for her in such a magical way that is just like really, really amazing. So know that your mind doesn't know. Your mind doesn't know anything. Your mind only knows what you have put in your mind. The only context that your mind has is the information that you have learned so far. But you don't know it all. Your mind doesn't know it all. But there's something bigger than you, there's a guidance, a wisdom that is outside of you and inside of you that is connected to all there is, that has all of that information. So it's okay if you don't know it all. It's okay. Tap into that divine guidance, that guidance inside of you, because that guidance is going to allow you to tap into things that you didn't even expect, things that you didn't even know could happen. But if you let your mind take control, then your mind is only going to guide you to the limits of your knowledge. And there's so much more, so many more opportunities that you cannot even imagine. So another important place, or another important tool to tap into your spirituality, is connecting to your purpose. We sometimes create businesses in order to make more money because we want to have more disposable income. We want to not have the 9 to 5, not have to struggle. We want to have the choice and freedom to use money and have experiences however we want to have them. And that's a great goal, but that is not a purpose. A purpose is something that moves you from your heart center. Is something that allows you to look at the whole road and all of the issues that you may have to face in your entrepreneur life, and be okay with all of that, because your purpose is so much bigger. Your purpose is not about you at all, at all. When you think about like, well, I want to make money because of, I want to have this life, then you're making it about you. Your purpose is something that helps all of us. It's something that helps nature or the community, the the world at large is a movement that you create to improve the lives of people, even if it's just one person. So your purpose is connected to something bigger than you. And when we allow our egos to be in charge, or when we allow our brain to be in charge, then we disconnect from our purpose and we become self-centered and self-serving. And so tapping into your purpose is tapping into that, into source, and you begin to co-create with a force greater than you. And this allows you to expand to levels that you never thought possible. I have seen so many people that have started with the purpose and have become so successful in their business. And I have seen people that have started with the mind intention, and their business has not been as successful or has failed. For example, one that comes to mind right now is the shoes. Gosh, what's the name of the shoes? This person was in Argentina, and he started noticing that children were walking around barefoot and they didn't have shoes. And so he started creating these shoes, Tom shoes. He started creating shoes for these kids, and he said, well, I need to be able to pay for this. So he sold for every pair of shoes that he sold, he made one for the kids. With that purpose and that intention, people really wanted to be a part of that movement. And this company just became so successful because the intention was pure. And people can read that, people can feel that in your um in your copy, in your what you're doing. People feel that. And when people feel that your intentions are pure and it's not just self-serving, or they're not self-serving, people want to join in that. So tapping into that purpose allows you to bring in sources, help, and energies, and really opens the doors and the way so much easier for you. Another way of integrating spirituality into business is allowing versus forcing things to happen. Sort of like operating with alignment from the mind and the heart. Yes, think of strategies, think of goals and routines and things that you have to set up for your business, but make sure that you are aligned with your heart, because the heart is the one that trusts and knows. It's like the feminine aspect, right, of the energy. It allows, it brings in the energy and allows it to come in and show its wisdom. And the masculine energy is more of a pursuer, or the hustler, the doer. And when you are aligning both, when you are tuning into both the allowing and the pursuing, what you're doing is creating such a beautiful momentum where something comes to you, a chance encounter, or a phone call that you didn't expect, or someone told you about this other person. Those are opportunities that are presented into your life that then you take action on. But if you are always taking action and you're not giving or allowing the space to bring in that energy, to bring in those opportunities, then you're going to miss them. You're not going to see them. If you are constantly chasing them and you're not sitting back for a moment and meditating and allowing those opportunities to come to you, you're going to miss them. Another way of integrating spirituality is by knowing that the flow of abundance is all around you. It's in the abundance of simple things like abundance of air, abundance of friends, abundance of in ideas. And so tapping into that flow of abundance and being appreciative of all of the abundance that you have around you in whatever circumstance you have. So, for example, my sister, she is in Venezuela, and it's not a wealthy country at the moment, even though there's a lot of resources. There's a lot of issues happening right now that is not allowing people to experience the abundance that they could. However, she has an abundance of resources, people around that are helping her to do so many things and to manage life in such an amazing way that she's so appreciative of that abundance keeps coming to her. Um, and so when you are tapping into the energy of abundance, you are trusting. You are trusting and you are allowing yourself to be guided because you know, you know. There is a small quote from, again, the Bible that it says, be still and know that you are God. So the way that I interpret this is quiet your mind and feel it within you that everything is possible, that you are the creator of your reality, that you can master anything, that you can have it all, that you are okay, that you are good. But you have to quiet the chatter in your mind, the thoughts that tell you you're not good enough, that you should do this, you should do that. Quiet that and just know. Tap into the knowingness, not the doubts, not the I have to figure things out, but the stillness and the wisdom that exists inside of you. God is inside of you, spirit, whatever, wisdom, whatever you want to call it, is inside of you. And it's in your heart. So tap into that so you can co-create with that energy. Um, so grounding yourself is another way that I would say it's important. When we are entrepreneurs tend to be very creative and they tend to think about millions of things and sometimes not even finish them all. And when they get such a scattered brain, such a scattered energy, sometimes they lose themselves and they start doubting everything that they're doing. They start feeling so overwhelmed that they don't know what's happening. They don't know right from wrong. They don't know up from down. They just feel lost in that energy, so scattered. And when you have a practice of meditation, you establish routines where you ground yourself, where you are able to put your feet, your bare feet on the ground and just connect with nature, or you are practicing breath work to release and surrender, or you pray if that is something that you like doing, or you meditate to center again, or practice um, rock climbing, something that grounds you with your body, something that brings your energy back into your core, into alignment. So that's a really good way of integrating spirituality into that. Um, a lot of entrepreneurs that I work with, they listen to podcasts, they go to Burning Man events like that, like Burning Man or other events allows us to be in community with people that think like us, people that are into expanding their minds, into entrepreneurship, into thinking beyond the limitations of our mind. Just so participating in either concerts or events like that is a really good way of grounding, but also connecting with a community. It's kind of like going to church, you know. Other entrepreneurs do biohacking their bodies, or they experiment with substances that expand their consciousness and allows them to release the ego for just a moment and see the reality of what they're creating and see also the possibilities. I have had clients that have use ketamine and they have seen themselves, and I'm not endorsing any of this, I'm saying that some people do that. I'm not saying it's good or bad, and just saying people have done this, and they have witnessed their ego stepping aside, and they have felt the connection to all there is and the abundance that all there is. And they have been able to produce so much abundance, but without attachment whatsoever, without feeling like, oh yeah, I'm making $100 million a month, like whatever, it's not a big deal. For some people this is like, what are you saying? But for other people are like, no, this is what is there, that exists in this field of potentiality, the universe. It exists. It is our mind that tells us it's not there. So if you can tap into something bigger than you, then it allows you to see possibilities. Now, biohacking your body means that you are starting to tune in into what's right for your body, because your body gives you signals. A great way to tap into your intuition and what is right for you is actually connecting with your body. But if your body has toxicity, if you're not nourishing your body, if you are not treating your body appropriately, then you can't tune in, because you're going to confuse the signals. You may feel like, oh my gosh, something is wrong. Maybe I shouldn't do this business. When in reality, it could be as simple as I had 5 cups of coffee and I'm feeling anxious because my heart is beating fast and is hijacking my nervous system, the caffeinated drinks that I've had. And so it can confuse the signals. But if you are really tapping into your body and treating your body as the vessel and the temple that it's supposed to be, then your body can give you the right signals and it can help you move into the right directions. You can really step into that feels right. That feels nah, then you can really understand the next steps. It really guides you so much faster and so much better when you are able to understand how your body works and you can nourish your body. I see so many entrepreneurs just hustling so much that they don't exercise, they don't eat well, they don't rest well, they don't take care of themselves. And that doesn't help at all. That doesn't help them be successful at all. That doesn't help them manifest and create everything that they want. Some other entrepreneurs also listen to podcasts that are for expanding your mind, expanding your knowledge, expanding possibilities. That's sort of feeding your mind and giving your mind a lot more context as to what you're experiencing. It's really interesting because in a lot of other countries outside of the United States, there is so much more openness to spirituality and the mystic and all of that. The United States is very practical, I would say, and a little bit limited in those things. And I see the need to understand more and learn more, because we're missing so much when we don't know enough. There is a field of energy that Chinese have explored for thousands of years that we're barely tapping into, like, oh, acupuncture. There's a field of energy or energy healing that we're barely tapping into with Reiki and things like that. Things that have existed for thousands and thousands of years, we're barely starting to understand. And they have been working for so long, but we're now integrating it. So the fastest you can consume information, podcasts, books, even listening to things like this, I think the better you can understand how you can use your energy and your spirituality to propel you into a much bigger arena than you ever thought of. Other people use breath work. Breath work helps you really get to connect to the present moment, to activate your brain, to calm your nervous system, your vagus nerve, all of that. Other people use cold plunges, like ice baths and things like that, to help you tune in into the nervous system and activate the immune system and help you like really calm down and master your mind, master your ability to be connected and present in the moment. Um, and um, and people also have mentors. Like my clients have me as a mentor to guide them and to help them explore and to sort of forecast some things that could happen. All of that is really helpful. Yoga, anything that you can explore and understand, I think is really important for you to tap into and do. So I I would love to have a conversation about this and share with you my knowledge, everything that I've learned. And I don't know it all. Of course, I don't know it all, and I don't presume to know it all. I know that I probably am making some mistakes, and that's okay because it is in these mistakes that I learn. And I'm willing to I'm willing to learn more. I'm a student for life, and I just want to share everything that I know. So if you have any questions and you want to join me in another conversation in the future, I would love to have that. So tweet me your comments or send me your comments. You can email them to me, or you can just find me on social media at drnancydeandrade.com. So, real excited to be here with you and share this wisdom with you. And I hope to connect with you very soon. I hope this was helpful for you. All right. Thank you for being here. Blessings.